We're now officially into the second half of this F1 24 career mode, Season 4, and that means the pressure starts to slowly but surely ramp up. And last time out, well, the pressure has certainly turned up a notch after this unfortunate race where, well, this is actually to our benefit. Lando Norris getting pinched in by myself and Piastri, an awful racing incident for all involved. But then later on, as I was enjoying the fight at the top between Fernando Alonso and Nico Hülkenberg, our enjoyment of that and our own race was cut short with an engine failure, and so myself and Lando scored 0 points. At least that was a match together in a way, so we didn't lose out massively. But having an engine failure like that is never a good thing, especially when you had so much good momentum, you know, of good results. That stops us in our tracks. But something that's certainly going to get my mood in a more positive light is this secret meeting coming in, because I am ready to click decline on that bad boy, because surely this is going to get us to 60% recognition. The last time we declined a secret meeting, it gave us a boost of 3% recognition. Now currently that means we stand at 57%. We need 60% to unlock the remaining R&D upgrades in this Toyota team. So by clicking decline here, that means we are well on our way to getting those juicy what? 50, 59, 50, 59. Where? Why? How is this only 2% improved? Are you taking the piss? F1 24. Thank you for nothing. Once again, 1%. Are you kidding me? We are still waiting to unlock the secret upgrades, the last remaining upgrades. We can't even count on another secret meeting. I'm pretty sure it's now too late in the season for any more to come up. How are we going to get this last 1%? We're going to have to hope that we absolutely slap up Tsunoda, I guess, in the next couple of races, I think. I think if our rating goes up high enough, or our head-to-head goes up high enough, or maybe one of the in-game rivalries, if we've got one of those that we can actually complete in this in the next few episodes, that might be the only way. But I really thought for a sec there that we were going to be laughing, having just had a DNF, you know, last laugh for us, because after that DNF, just absolutely soar up the R&D chart with many, many upgrades, and we have a car that can actually properly fight for the race wins. But no, it's a DNF. We have to fight back from that, and we still don't have the upgrades available to us to purchase. So, yeah, tough life out there. It's been a very tough season for Toyota and ourselves here, but we're making the most of it. We keep on going with the flow, and that is certainly worked out for us so far. But Tsunoda keeps buying absolutely useless durability upgrades for whatever reason, and for the first time now since, you know, Canada, when it started, we have not got a random AI engine upgrade. We have plateaued once again, but at least you can see, you know, we've made good progress there with those AI engine upgrades to be best of the rest basically in that second pack. But I mean, as I've said, and we've proven many times this season, and even other AI teams have proven, you know, BMW Williams, High Tech, Haas recently as well, with their performances, that in the you know, these later seasons, the R&D chart is merely a suggestion. Really, on track form, you know, certain, you know, track to track dependencies can really make a difference, and the scaling also is so tiny that you know, this is just a mere little suggestion of how things may go. In reality, sometimes things change quite a fair bit. You know, what this graph doesn't tell you is how horrendous Red Bull's reliability has been, for example, for Max Verstappen. You know, what is he up to, like 5 DNFs so far? So I mean, as much as we really do want some upgrades, because they will tangibly help us for sure in the fight for this championship, we also have to remember how well we've been doing with the car we've got right now. We just have to continue like that. And, you know, Belgium and Italy coming up, 2 tracks where power is important. Well, we've had nothing but engine upgrades from the AI engine side of things in recent episodes, so that should be a benefit. So actually, I think we should be looking pretty strong around here and in the next one at Monza. So let's go to qualifying.
High-speed straights, heady elevation changes and dramatic corners. What is there not to love about today? It's qualifying day here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Belgian Grand Prix, always a bit of a tricky one. It's a place where you have to compromise, you know, high-speed downforce corners, but also you really do need a skinny rear wing to try and be as quick in a straight line. So it's always a fine line to, you know, find that right balance on the setup. But thankfully, this car, I feel like, has been very aero efficient in that department. We've actually, you know, we've not had the downforce necessarily in some places, but I think that we've never had a problem with drag. You know, there's only ever been a problem with, like, ERS, let's say. But at the start, the first lap wasn't exactly setting the times alight. But I feel like with Spa, even though it's a thoroughbred circuit, not a street track, it is one of those places where, at least for me, I gain confidence doing more laps of it and really finding the edge of the limit of the track, going quicker through some of these corners that are so fast and flowing. And you can see right there, we picked up 2/10 alone, just picking up throttle a bit sooner, turning in a bit more aggressively. Purple middle sector, in fact, gaining a bit more time in the bus stop chicane, and we go P7. Hopefully that's going to be our lucky number, obviously car number 7 on the top of our wagon. But Lewis Hamilton is the man on pole position then for Red Bull Ford, and once again Haas Cadillac continue to impress. Second place for Piastri. I mean, to be fair, Piastri deserves, you know, after the last 2 races, the way they've gone for him. And Williams also continue to match what they were doing last season with this mid-season bout of form at the circuits where it's all about power and straight line speed. Obviously, like in real life, you know, Williams have always been known to do better at circuits like this where they can try and be a bit, you know, compromising with the setup, and it translates to the game very nicely. You can see Tsunoda a bit on the back foot there. Obviously, I think the car general relative to other cars maybe not as competitive as we would want, but we've tried our best, and once again, very weirdly, we find ourselves close to Lando Norris on the racing, on the starting grid. We just seem to keep on finding each other, us former McLaren teammates from Season 1 and Season 2, as we go towards the grid then for the Belgium GP.
Welcome then, as we take a step back into the nostalgic golden days of motorsport. Spa is unashamedly a throwback, and all the better for it. Climbs, drops, sharp turns, chicanes, sweeping high-speed corners, all while taking in some of the most beautiful scenery that Europe has to offer. This might sound like a travel brochure, but it's not. It's a race day. Welcome along to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high-quality racing as well. Simply put it, there's no place quite like it. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Albon, Ocon, Leclerc, Verstappen, and RB, Norris, Sainz, Hülkenberg, Stroll, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Russell, Behrman, Sargent, Joe, Ricciardo, and Frederick Vesti. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me in the commentary box today, a man who I always look up to, which is easier said than done, Anthony Davidson. Let's look at their season, and particularly against their teammate. Fair to say, they've got the better of them more often than not. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday. But in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was about 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometers an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
It's a little bit overcast here in Spa on race day, but I believe the rain should be staying away. And this may be quite a straightforward one stop with these Michelin tyres from the soft two, well, I think the medium tyres we could probably work with, but maybe potentially some other teams might go to hards depending on how they, you know, treat their tyres. I think we know here at Toyota that we could go well on mediums. Obviously, initially at the start of this race, it will just be about can we get that good launch. Turn one is always a little bit dicey, and oh yeah. You know what else is dicey? That grid formation, because for whatever reason, I just forgot that on this game, it goes through. There's no actual, you know, threat of damage, but I panicked, and that made me outbrake myself even more. So now we're pushed back in our grid slot as we go to 5 red lights for the Belgium Grand Prix. Lights out, and away we go. It's a good start, I think. They're ahead for Lewis Hamilton off pole. Piastri on the outside, 3 wide. The Ferrari gets down the inside of both Williams. We're pinched in. Bit of contact with Verstappen and Lando Norris. That's why it was so tight into turn 1. The McLaren made it 3 wide for myself. The Red Bull and the McLaren, it's still 3 wide up the hill, and we've re-overtaken both of them. Lando and Verstappen working together to nearly ruin that turn 1 for me, but we committed up the hill, and we got back up to P6 as Hamilton has to defend Piastri. Piastri going the long way round. Is he going to do it? I think he might. The Haas Cadillac is actually loving these race starts. First it was Hulkenberg around Silverstone, and now Piastri here at Spa. The Haas leads, Piastri leads. I mean, like I said, he kind of deserves a bit of good luck, to be honest, after the last 2 episodes. Hamilton, the pole man, down to second. Then it's Leclerc ahead of the 2 BMW Williams of Albon and Ocon, and we're going to try and get past one of those 2 on the outside. Nice little dive, and now we're going to take the racing line through the next left-hander as we get up into the top 5 for the first time behind Lando, trying to follow us through. You can see that desperation there from our nearest championship rival to match us. I mean, we very nicely matched each other at Silverstone with 0 points each, but now as we try and traverse up the grid order, the McLaren knows he needs to try and stick with us. Otherwise, the DRS training could maybe break this top pack away. That is a danger around Spa. As much as the DRS trains keep you in fights, it can also mean it's impossible to catch up to a lead pack if they train themselves away from you. As we go down the inside to once again be 3 abreast with 2 cars into turn 1, and the Williams and Ferrari ferociously locked into a battle, banging tyres, bit of carbon fibre flailing, and they're still at it side by side up Rouge. And now the Williams and Ferrari will continue their drag race down the Kemmel Straight, and in fact catch up to me because we've got no battery here. We're a sitting duck. Albon on the inside. We've gone deep, and now there's contact between ourselves and the Ferrari as we skate through across the curb. Collision warning with Leclerc. The AI are absolutely on one today, it seems. They seem so aggressive, as even this move here, Hamilton on Piastri, just the way they're darting left and right, just seems very, very irate. One could describe it as, what was that? What was that? What was that? Leclerc overtook us, Fairs, but the rear end just completely snapped on me. I think on the curb slightly, but we've lost 2 positions because of that, and all of a sudden this car is not feeling too comfortable, you know, as we try and come back on Lando Norris, having to let off throttle, get down the inside of Blanchimont to the bus stop chicane. We nearly bang tyres. We're wheel to wheel, the literal textbook definition of that. Side pod to side pod, sidewall to sidewall, and the McLaren will just edge ahead of us. But can we keep our foot in on the outside? We're going to try and actually brake earlier and try and cut in for a tighter line. Try and get on power earlier, bit of battery use in there, and that will pull us alongside as we go into Rouge, up Radion, and now to the Kemmel Straight. We're ahead, back into P6, but we've still got to now chase back after Ocon and Leclerc. And Ocon is actually overtaken Leclerc now, so the Williams, initially after obviously being overtaken by Leclerc, they now genuinely seem like they have better race pace than the Ferrari at this stage. I mean, Albon, he's pulled away. He's actually with the top 3 you can see on the minimap. He's actually pressurising Piastri, it would seem, as Hamilton has a bit of breathing room in the lead of this race, it would seem, for Red Bull Ford, as we are now gaining on Leclerc, who equally is gaining on Ocon. We're a bit of a passenger here, just trying to watch and maybe try and vie for a position. I feel like we maybe missed an opportunity there. I feel like if I was more aggressive, I would have been able to make a move on one of those cars in that side-by-side move at the end of the Kemmel Straight, but it's fine. We might have another go on lap 6 because it's deja vu, but the other way around, Ocon pulls through on the inside, and again, we're missing opportunities, but the rear end steps out once, twice again, and then into the next corner completely as we have to catch the car opposite lock. There's a bit of tyre wear in there. Tyre temps are fine. What is going on with this car? As we get ping-ponged about from Sainz to Stroll, it's like we're driving in the wet. What is going on with this Toyota? What is happening? This Japanese rocket ship of ours usually is falling apart. Tsunoda now overtakes us because I don't want to hold up my own teammate too much because at the moment, I'm stumped. What's this car issue? What's going on? The grip is just not there anymore. There is some tyre wear, but it's not horrendous. It's not that bad, I don't think. And the tyre temps are okay. Very, very peculiar. And now Fernando Alonso's snapping at our heels. And we've gone from fighting for, what was it, at one point P4 to now P12. This is the replay. Look at how sideways we were. That is nearly perpendicular to the racing line. We did quite well to save that, to be fair, but it's not going to, matter because the pain continues. The lack of grip and balance with this car continues as the sun comes out, so the track will heat up a little bit temperature-wise, but I think, I don't know, I can't think of anything but just to pit early, and we were going to go on to mediums, but now we've switched over to the hard compounded tyre because I now don't know what to think anymore. I don't believe the mediums will go well for us anymore. If it is to do with the tyre wear, then colour me very surprised. This is the first time ever that this Toyota has seemed to really struggle at the end of the stint or just with a bit of tyre wear. As meanwhile at the front, look at this epic battle going on 3 wide for the race lead, and they're all playing a bit of car ping pong really because all 3 of them tap each other, and in the end of it, looks like Alexander Albon might come through from P3 to P1. Piastri too busy fighting Hamilton, and he's let the Williams through, and obviously Hamilton attacking him has helped out as well. And so Albon's capitalised on Hamilton, putting the pressure on Piastri. Piastri's down to P2, but I'm sure with the nature of this circuit, these 3 will be swapping, and maybe even the next 3 along might be catching up because they were in the same camera shot, as we have obviously now got our head down on these hard tyres. The car is feeling fine now balance-wise, and we've got so much of an undercut that we managed to repass Alonso, who is 2+ seconds down the road. We've jumped back ahead of Lando Norris, so despite those major car control issues, the undercuts work so well for us here on the hard tyres that we basically jumped back ahead of people that we'd lost positions to with that very weird, I want to say oversteer gate moment. I honestly don't know. It's like the car physics just broke on me. It was so odd. I can't describe the feeling in the cockpit. Like, I didn't even get any sort of force feedback from my wheel. The car would just snap, and the only way I knew was visually the car was going sideways, but I had no feeling in the wheel I was using that the car was ever going to give out and go. And well, now the hard tyres are working for us amazingly because we've overtaken Carlos Sainz, and now we've just overtaken Oscar Piastri. He was fighting for the top 3, although to be fair, Leclerc and Ocon ahead have jumped him as well as, Red Bull with an engine failure. Is it Max Verstappen once again? No, it is Lewis Hamilton, the man on pole. It was going so well for him. He was fighting for the race win, but Hamilton has to face the same music Verstappen has had so many times this season. Red Bull Ford in the mud with their reliability. And so a couple of laps later down the line, it's lap 17. You can see we're trying to have a look at Leclerc, but it's a bloody 1-2 for BMW Williams, because in the pit stop phase, I don't know what went on, but it seems like a very powerful undercut, overcut, or just traffic or what, as we go neck and neck up the hill with Leclerc. But Piastri, who was up there with Hamilton, he fell away. He's obviously now fighting Carlos Sainz behind us, and the two Williams cars just absolutely cooked everyone, and they're basically using DRS off each other to get ahead. And obviously myself fighting with Leclerc so viciously like this on lap 17 isn't helping any of us catch up to the Williams. But the thing is, you can't think like that, because it's everyone for themselves in this sort of situation, and the two Williams are loving life right now. Albon leading, Ocon second. So in a flash, this race has really turned on its head, and we didn't even see much of it happen because I was so busy, getting my head down on the hard tyres, trying to make up for what happened to us in the first stint. Is Leclerc absolutely does me into turn one because we go far too deep, trying to defend the Ferrari car. He's right up our chuff. He's going to try and commit, but we will stay ahead at the hill. We're giving him the room to work with, but annoyingly, he's going to be behind with the DRS, so maybe we should have been actually a bit less kind to him. But at that stage, I didn't even bother defending that too much, as you can see, because he's got DRS. I've not got too much battery, so we may as well just tuck in behind and try and re-engage later in the race. But yeah, the top 10 then, Tsunoda just creeping in at P9, Piastri down to P6 now after such a great first stint. So seems like a pattern. The Haas cars, they're very quick in the first stint, but they're still working on that overall race pace, maybe with tyre wear, as we now get to lap 20. Oh wow, what is going on with this car? This Toyota, for the first time, is scaring me. It is stumping me as the rear brakes just completely lock up there. We're going to move the brake bias up to the front to try and stop that happening, but that was the first time that's happened all race, so I don't know why it happened in that particular corner. Maybe we just, we tried to brake a bit too late to try and catch up with the Ferrari, because I still want this podium, of course. I want to maximize the points on not only, the cars around us, but more importantly, Lando Norris, the nearest man to us in the championship. It really seems like it's going to be a 1-2 finish for BMW Williams. This is going to be insane for the British outfit, but can we join them on the podium as we go for the move on Leclerc? On the inside, he does really well to keep his foot in, and that Ferrari seems so good in the middle of the corner. Clearly a bit more downforce, way better acceleration, you can see there, as now Leclerc comes back at us on the outside as we go through this entire sequence, jockeying for position. The cars moving, dancing about like an almost choreographed dance between two foes as we go round the outside at Pouon. Can't quite commit. The Ferrari shuts the door. We go from right to left. It's now our turn to try it round the outside. This has literally been a side-by-side battle for the ages with our Season 3 rival. Remember, we fought Leclerc for the World Championship last season, and very rarely last season did we get a chance to go toe-to-toe with Leclerc, have a wheel-to-wheel battle. So it's actually very nice for the first time to have a proper wheel-to-wheel battle with Leclerc, the man we fought the championship for last season and obviously ultimately lost out to. Can we now make this large ditch effort? We try it. It's a bit too audacious. We get desperate and it bites us back in the bum as we go down to P4. But it's a 1-2 for Williams. Can we just recognize that? That is insane. Insane stuff from BMW Williams. Obviously, I'm upset we didn't get the podium, but what a mental race. Crazy, 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 crazy.
What a day it has been for Alex Albon, who takes the checkered flag and wins.
Well, it all came good in the end for them, but it wasn't an easy start. Not the most straightforward of days, but I think it shows great strength in an athlete as a driver when you can overcome a day like this and walk away still with a victory.
It looks like it's time once again to hand out the silverware as the successful drivers make their way to the podium. It was a gritty performance today by Williams, and they've got the race win to prove it.
It's another race where myself and Lando just, we're maximising, when one person finishes ahead of the other, it's max damage limitation because he's still only 4 points behind us. Leclerc now is only 10 points off, so slowly but surely is the Season 3 reigning world champion coming into this title fight maybe. Are we going to be fighting Leclerc again for a second season in a row? This time we're in different colours and this time it'll be Lando Norris, not Max Verstappen, as the third party in this. We're going to have to see, but for now, just mystified at the 1-2 for BMW Williams. What an incredible race of Formula 1 that has been, an incredible result for the sport indeed. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, then be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.